Are you struggling in Archero Chapter 14? Well, in this video I'm going to give you all my tips, tricks, strategy, and more that I've acquired so that you can tackle every single boss and walk away a champion and be an Archero Pro. Coming up right after this. What is up, guys? It is your boy Gazda back at it again with some new Archero content for my Archero series on my YouTube that is not only Archero content. And if you are new to my channel and this series, this is where we play Archero, which is a mobile game developed by Happy Studios. It's available on Android and iOS, and it is a very difficult game, especially when it comes to Chapter 14. That's why you clicked on this video. And in this video, we are going to tackle all of the bosses in Chapter 14. And in this series, we cover content like this: gameplay, strategy, gear, guide. Everything that has to do with Archero is usually in this series. So if that content seems exciting to you, I highly recommend you subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. I upload about 2 to 3 times per week. And while you're at it, smash the like button and leave a comment, because both things help out greatly on my channel with the YouTube algorithm, and I read and reply to just about every single comment, including the mean ones. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this, okay? Alright, so here we are overlooking the gear I'm using for Shade, who is the one who ultimately helped me take this chapter to victory. As you can see, the Stalker staff, I believe, is a must. This is one of the few chapters I will recommend use this gear setup. If you got it, use it. If you want to win, use it. Any other time, I'd recommend, try it your best, but I mean, I tried with Sylvan, I tried with different kinds of setup, and this is what worked for me. So I have Shade at level 68, okay, and here's the stats that you're seeing right here. 2 laser bats and 2 lion rings at epic. So as you can see, that gives me a boost of 606 HP, attack power I should say, against bosses. So that helped greatly with this. Alright, boom, 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 in the room, here we go. Multi-shot right out of the gate, which is epic. So, always go with multi-shot. It's triple S, god tier ability, always get it. Okay, now, the Scarecrow has many different iterations. Many of these bosses have many different iterations, and unfortunately, this video would be an hour long if I showed every single iteration of every boss with every single ad, so we're not going to go with that. So, the outline of this video is going to be the general strategy that works on these bosses. No matter the ads, no matter what kind of walls are there or not. For Scarecrow, you want to hang around the back of the room. As you can see, I'm kind of highlighting here. It's easier for you to dodge the bullets that are presented because they swirl, so you have a longer time to dodge and avoid them. Stick to that. Try and knock out the ads if you can, but if not, go for the Scarecrow. It's one of the few bosses where I'll say it doesn't really matter too much. Kind of go for whatever works for you. And you should have no problems with Scarecrow. Usually the first boss. Alright, kaboom! That brings us to the second boss. It could be a different variety of bosses. This is in no particular order. This is just all of the bosses. But it's usually the Icelancer. Now the Icelancer, as you can see again, I'm highlighting on the screen an area where you should try and stick around so that you can avoid the projectiles. He has 3 moves. He has a ground pound smash, which is very easily to avoid, and he telegraphs it pretty well. And then he pops in, swirls into the ground, swirls out, and throws a area of effect projectile blast all over. You want to be as far away as possible because it spreads, so that you can avoid that. Then he has the lunge, where that will hit you for heavy damage, and it can hit you double time, because then after he lunges with his Ice Lance, because his Icelancer, he'll shoot you with 4 projectiles. So the best way to avoid that is if you are across from him as far as possible on the end points of the screen, you should have no problem with him taking him out. Ads, try and take them out because they can be cumbersome, especially if you get the blobs. Now we're on the Thunder Laser Dragon, which is a pain in my ass, because sometimes he'll just take my life from me, and then I have a lower chance of success in the chapter. But very quick strategy for him. What you want to do is run towards the lasers. Take out the ads as soon as possible because it usually gets crazy, but focus on running towards the lasers. so that you can avoid. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but if you run towards lasers, they usually pop off, and you can take care of not getting hit because they hit a lot, and then they'll just keep bouncing and take you out. But that's the best strategy for the laser dragon. And that then brings us to the ice arachnid creature, you know, out of like Cthulhu Nightmare kind of boss. This one you want to practice hovering around the edges, because the black hole ball that he shoots out, it swirls out, and so you're able to avoid it a little bit easier. And by you sticking to the walls, you're able to avoid the projectile bounce pretty often. But if you're close in, it can be kind of hard to avoid, and it can get very clustery, and you won't know what's going on. So my best strategy is, as you can see, hug the walls here. That's how you should take them out. Then you move on to the double Medusas. They can be aggravating as well, because sometimes they'll just completely blindside you by rushing you non-stop, and that doesn't give you much time to react or to hit them with damage, and then they'll wear you out before you wear them out. Best strategy, go up and down the top of the room, try and, you know, cover as much ground as possible, so that if they do charge you, you have enough space to not get hit while still laying into them. And then we have the other super aggravating boss. We have the double Deadwood trees. Sometimes they're stacked on top of each other, sometimes they're not. I would really pay attention to the shadow though, because the shadow gives away when they're jumping. You want to lay into them as much as possible when you enter the room, so that you can try and take them out a little bit quicker. But less movements is better for them. If you are all over the screen and erratic, you're going to get hit a lot. If you try and just move slightly and just stutter step away from their projectiles, you should have absolutely no problem with them. But if you panic, they're going to take you out. They come in different varieties, with the blue one and the green one. The blue one's more aggravating because he spawns mobs, but overall they're not too difficult. They're just usually like life eaters if you are patient. Then you have the next boss on the list, which is the mummy skeleton and the ice skeleton. It doesn't matter what order they're in. Sometimes one's on the bottom, one's on the top. I think when the mummy tornado skeleton's on the top, it's easier because the tornadoes usually just spread out and hit the walls and they don't hit you. But in my case, as you can see, I got him on the bottom. Really, just try and lay into one as much as possible so that you can take them out. But I don't really have a general strategy. The tornadoes are pretty easy to avoid, and when the ice one is in the back, his projectiles almost never hit you, so just don't panic. You should have no problems with them. Alright, now you have the fire dragon who does the charging, so the thunder laser pig dragon and the fire pig dragon. I would say try and take out the fire pig dragon first, so that you can have more time to avoid the lasers. But the same strategy for the laser pig dragon applies here. Just notice the fireballs, run towards the laser, and utilize the room effectively, and you shouldn't have a problem with them either. Then we have the Carnivorous plant boss. This can come in a bit of a variety, with one that shoots the projectile and spawns mobs, and that projectile splits, being in the back or the front, while the other one is just spreading holy hellfire of projectiles. Either way, the strategy is, I would not utilize any of the room. I would stick to the bottom because the projectiles get a little crazy, and just avoid it. Lay into one Carnivorous plant, take them out, get the health boost, and then lay into the other one. That's the general strategy that works for me. But, you know, your mileage may vary. Now this boss in this video is the Wyvern that shoots the eggs, and the bee boss. Good luck, RIP, because this is really just dumb luck on what skills you actually got. You're gonna need ricochet for this one. You're gonna need diagonal arrows and multi-shot to even stand a chance, because the mobs that spawn from the bee, it just becomes overwhelming, as you can see very quickly. I end up dying in this one. I don't even stand a chance. I don't have a completed run on this. I have killed this boss before, and I honestly tell you, it really just depends on the abilities you have, because I think they might be the hardest boss. Just hope that you have those abilities so you can take out the bee boss quicker, or the Wyvern boss, so you can have more room to kill the other. Once one's down, it's cakewalk from there. But when they're both on screen, they're a nightmare to deal with. Let's keep it going, guys. We're almost done. Okay, now we have the double snake boss, or worm. Sorry, we established in a previous video that these are worms. I think they're worms because there's already a snake kind of creature and it looks different. Anyway, I digress. There is multiple kind of iterations of this one. You'll have one that will pop the projectile after, and then that projectile will spread, or you'll have, in this case, just the double wide-ranging projectile that spawns the mini worms as well. Basically the frozen pinnacle one. My strategy for this one, just stay in the back or the front of the room where you enter. Don't venture forth because the projectile is just going to be too crazy. Lay into one and you shouldn't have too much of a problem. Once one's down, the other one falls pretty quickly too. You just got to stay patient and stay focused, because in this case, in this run, there was a lot of projectiles. Just move accordingly. But they're really not hard. I don't think I've really ever died to them. So you shouldn't have a problem with them. Here is one that gave me so many problems, and in this recording I actually was able to kill them. It was my first time ever killing them, and I employed the strategy that I'm showing you on screen, which is you're going to want to, it's not stutter stepping because you are moving, but it's basically with this stalker staff, launching a projectile and moving. And that projectile they will usually run into, and so they'll take all of the projectiles at once, and that's how you whittle them away. But less movements is more for killing the double death scythe bosses. You can't move a lot or you're gonna get smashed by them. Ricochet, of course, great skill to have when you're walking into this boss. Now we have the rock golem double boss. You want to use the same kind of strategy that you use on the double death scythe bosses. So you want to kind of stutter step as you're seeing on screen. Utilize the whole space that you're dealing with. And in many cases, they'll actually roll after you. And so that's why you want to be doing that stutter stepping. In this case of this recording, I ended up getting ones that just wanted to throw rocks all day, which kind of helped me out to kill them. I ended up popping off my angel amulet, which was always cool. I think that's why it's the best amulet. You know, it gave me an extra play. But yeah, stutter step with it. It's not a stutter step, it's you're just moving you're like, how do I explain it? You are just taking a few steps, launching your bullet, taking a few steps. It's not stutter stepping because you are actually moving. Alright, hell yeah, take a glass of water, pat yourself on the back. You have now made it to the final boss of chapter 14. And even if you don't beat it, it's an accomplishment because they are one of the hardest bosses you'll ever face. Strategy, utilize the corners, utilize going back and forth, really lay into one because the faster you take out one, the easier it is to take out the other one. If you utilize the corners and extend the whole room, as you can see, the death spiral balls will prove no problem because they'll spiral out where they can't hit you. But that is the general strategy. Remain calm. Otherwise, you'll panic, you'll take all those bullets, you'll die pretty quick. But congratulations, you have now completed chapter 14. You officially can join the ranks of being an Archero Pro. So pat yourself on the back. I really believe you are in the high percentage of that only top 1%. Not a lot of people can complete this game, but you did. So I hope that this video has served you well in giving you the tips, tricks, and strategies that you need to conquer this very hard chapter. There are new chapters coming on the way, but for now, you are an elite player. So congratulations to you. Before I go, I want to remind you to again, subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell. I upload 2-3 times per week if you enjoyed content like this. I do have a question of the day for you guys. What was the worst boss for you in this chapter and why? Leave it in the comment down below. I'd love to read it and I'd love to respond to it. That's the end of this video, but before you go, check out these videos on the side. Maybe one of them will suit your fancy. I really don't know, but I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Gazda. I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.